Okay, so here's what I wanted to do today. Um, if you're doing the JavaScript project, um, last time we had a bird fly across the screen, and that was cool. But there's no user interface, so the user just sat there. The bird went from right to left, left to right, I guess, and then bounced back and just kept flying back and forth. And it was very pretty, very nice, but that was it. So now what I wanted to do is to provide some code. Let's get some user interface where the user is going to control how our GIF is going to move. This is kind of a rough approach, but it's kind of neat. And then I'll show you an improvement. Not perfect either, but we'll move forward and you'll be able to, again, kind of create a little bit of a game, or at least the beginnings of that. So this document here, this has the code and walks you through the steps in terms of what you're going to need to do. The first thing, so we'll use this guy here. So this is a little GIF that I made, and he's running. It's not the world's greatest, but it'll work for our purposes. Certainly, if you want to use a different image, that's fine. Just pay attention to the name, whether it's a GIF or a PNG. That'll be kind of important. And you're going to want them to be able to flip. So you're going to want to either edit it in some kind of editor or get one that's going to the left and going to the right. Usually, if you look at a sprite sheet, they're always pointing to the right because that means that you can flip them on your own. Anyway, but you don't have to use this image is my point. There are a couple links if you were going to use them. So if you click on these links, download it to your images folder. That's kind of the first step. All right, so you want to get both of these guys. So it's two different images. When he goes the other way, I've got to go out, get this image that's pointing to the left and move them. The names are important too. So Dude RT is the guy going to the right. Dude LF is going to the left, obviously. So here's the starter code just to get this guy to go. And what's going to happen is, again, he's going to be running on a treadmill to begin with. He's going to be running in place on the next one. And I'll show you what the next one is going to look like. That's this guy kind of down here. So I can get him to stop both the left and the right. And then he also fires little fireballs. It's coming out of his forehead. A little strange. Did it pretty quickly. You can enhance that how you want it to show up and all that kind of stuff. But that's a little bit. It's not that much more code to get it to work. But anyway, so we'll just go with him always running. So he's on the treadmill when he's not moving, and we'll be off to the races. So I want to walk you through on exactly how to do it. So I'm going to do this with you, as it were. So this is the code. Yep. Sorry about that. So this is the code that I want to copy. And I'll give you the arrow key so that doesn't have to go too fast. And that's it. So I'm going to copy that code. I know everything is going to work relatively right. Open it up to my text editor. I'll use the Chromebook. And when you save it, just make sure that you save it with the extension .html. So I'm going to save this inside my website 2 folder. The name, I got to change I'm going to call it dude.html. And so if I do that and click save, now I should have that. There's dude.html. And nothing's going to happen. There he is. He's just showing up there. Click the button. Nothing happens. So the click the button thing is a little bit of a pain in the butt, but it's a nice way to start. And we're off to the races. So you have to refresh and click start to test your code a bunch of times. That will get old, I will concede. Before we start writing a lot of code about the guy, I think it's important to make sure that this start function works correctly, that I don't have a bug somewhere in that. So the next step, if I can go scroll down, there we go. is simply to alert hello. So this is just going to make sure that when the button is clicked, that the code recognizes that and knows that my function is all good. So I'll just paste that in, alert hello, save, come back over here, refresh, ding, and now when I click it, it says, whoa, great. There just are an awful lot of times when there's a slight error in that. And if you dump all this code, you're just looking at JavaScript and just looking at code, and oh, I misspelled start. So I always do that just to make sure that everything is happening just fine. So the next thing, I just want to remind you, if you remember from our bird thing, we created a div, we called it bird, I think. And so it has an ID, so that's got to be unique to all the divs that are on your page. And it also has a style, and this is the important part right here. So this is basically the XY coordinates. Left is your X and top is your Y. This is how many pixels am I over from the left-hand edge, how many pixels am I from the top. So this image is going to be placed 100 pixels from the left, 150 from the top, and that's